All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I am going to be reviewing Flint by Louis L'Amour. This is a Western novel written in 1960. Now, I have all of the Louis L'Amour books over here. He's one of my favorite writers. We'll pan through my big library and take you to the Louis L'Amour shelf, which is right there. All the Louis L'Amour novels. Anyway, so let's talk about Flint. We've reviewed quite a few of the Louis L'Amours on the channel. We will review all of them eventually. I think I've got over 100. I think I've reviewed about 25 or 26. Anyway, here we go. Flint. The cover, I love graphic design and cover illustration, partly because of my love of Western novels when I was a kid. I loved them a lot because of the cover artwork. Now, this cover was done by the Western artist James Bama, who was a very, very, very well-known and accomplished Western artist. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but during the 70s and 80s, this guy did some of the best Western gallery artwork in the world. I've got a whole book of his art. It's amazing. But anyway, this is a good cover of our main character, Flint. Okay, so what's this book about? So we've got this guy named Kettleman. Now, when he was a young boy, Kettleman was involved in he wasn't a young boy, I'd say teenage years, maybe almost 20 years old. He was being raised, and his mentor, he was an orphan boy, his mentor and the guy that sort of took him under wing was this gunslinger named Flint. And they were out west, and Kettleman was there. He was involved in a famous gunfight with Flint, where Flint was murdered in the gunfight, but Kettleman, the young gunslinger, he killed all the bad guys in a real cool way. And that scene is written. We do get to see that scene, and it's a really cool dynamite scene. But that's what happened. His mentor, Flint, was killed. Kettleman killed all the bad guys in a really cool John Wick style. And then he's done with the West. He goes back east to live where he gets married and ends up in an unhappy marriage in a city that he doesn't want to live in. His wife actually tries to poison him. So he goes. He's getting older. Now Kettleman is older. And he's going back out west to die. He wants to die back in the free lands of the West where there were no evil women trying to poison him and weird shit happening in the city. So he's going back. And this is where we sort of meet up with him at the beginning of the book. He's on the train headed out west. Also on the train is a woman named Nancy Kerrigan. Not the figure skater. Not the figure skater that got bashed in the knee by Tonya Harding. Not that Nancy Kerrigan, but a different Nancy Kerrigan. And she is going out west on the train. And also on the train is a fellow named Buck Dunn, bounty hunter. Buck Dunn, the rough and handsome Buck Dunn. Now, he is sent out west specifically to hunt Kettleman. Remember, Kettleman was... his wife tried to poison him in the city. And then he lit out of there. He got out of there, go out west, and his wife hired this bounty hunter, Buck Dunn, to chase him. And they're on the same train. They're going out west. And so we've got this whole situation between... And now, who is Nancy Kerrigan going to fall for? Will she fall for the handsome bounty hunter, Buck Dunn, or the old man, Kettleman, who's going out west to die? Well, once this all happens, a lot of things. Kettleman, he realizes things are up, things are going bad. He's going to have to do so. He can't die quite yet. So what he does is he takes over the persona of his old mentor, Flint. He's no longer Kettleman. He is now pretending to be Flint, and he's going around the West again as a gunslinger, righting the wrongs, much like the Lone Ranger, righting the wrongs that he can see as his old his old mentor Flint, he takes on that persona. And it's a very action. This is probably one of the most action-packed Louis L'Amours there is. I mean, there's gunfights galore. In fact, the last gunfight, not only does it involve gunfights, but it involves dynamite and a bunch of other stuff. And I won't get into the particulars of that, but it's just a massively grand adventure novel that takes place over the West with beautiful women, bounty hunters, guys on the run, gunfights everywhere, dynamite, all sorts of stuff happening. Just one of the better Louis L'Amours. And I remember when I read this as a kid, I do remember liking it quite a bit more than a lot of the other Louis L'Amours, because I like all the Louis L'Amours. But this is one of my favorites. And after rereading it, I haven't read this probably since I was 12 years old. But after having reread it, I can see why I liked it so much. Anyway, that is my review of Flint. I think it is a good, solid 10 out of 10 Western. One of Louis L'Amour, one of my favorite Louis L'Amours anyway.